Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, That Conversation with Repinya. And tonight, I'm reviewing Housewives of Atlanta season finale. So this is the last episode of the season. And let's just go with it. Let's go to the three categories. First category is the librarian's honor. Now, since this is the finale, we don't have a librarian's honor. So let's just move on over to Laid and Slade. Let me see. I'm going to give Laid and Slade to Dwight. Now, if you guys are Real Housewives of Atlanta watchers, you guys would know who Dwight is. So Dwight was an individual that was in some of the past shows. So he's the one who coined a fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful. So he said that because, you know, Sheree's been working on She by Sheree for 14 years. And she had previously attempted to throw a fashion show. But even back then, she didn't have any fashions. So this individual said, a fashion show with no fashions, how dreadful. And I think they even made a little remix to it. They're like, a fashion show with no fashions. A fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful. How dreadful. Anyways, it was so funny. You had to be there. If you know, you know. But he was super sharp. So we're going to give Laid and Slade to none other than Dwight. Next, we have the MVP. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and give the MVP to Sheree. Because we actually see her in this episode tell Tyrone to kick rocks by the train station. Just go. Be gone. So that was I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. That was like one of the best part of the scene, that she finally told Tyrone to get lost, which she should have done a while ago. And we actually get to see it. So yeah. MVP, Sheree, you get MVP. You've earned it. So this episode starts off with Kenya Moore. She's taking a call from her sales director. And, you know, previously Kenya had ran into some issues with her packaging for Kenya Moore hair care. But we see on this call that the director was telling her that everything's a go. Everything's worked out. So Kenya was excited. She said she had to spend a little more money on some packaging. But guess what, guys? Kenya Moore hair care is going to be in 5,000 CVS stores. So congratulations to you, Kenya. Congratulations, you earned it. This is really a big deal. So good job on your success. And I actually like the product. The product is awesome. And so we see later on that Kenya is actually going to be doing the ribbon cutting for CVS. You know, so they have her stuff in the CVS stores. And she shows up to the location. And it was so nice to see that Candy supported her. So Candy showed up. Surprisingly, Sonya showed up and supported her. And then later on we see Drew just kind of like hopping on in there because, you know, she's still injured. But she came, you know, to support her. So that was so cool. She said she wasn't going to miss it. And also I think we saw Brandon. Brandon is one of Kenya's old-time friends. We haven't seen Brandon on Housewives in a while. So it was good to see him too. So Kenya was super excited. And they did the ribbon cutting. And you know, I kind of felt like I was there. I was excited for her too. So, yeah, this was super exciting for everyone. This was a good moment. And so while the ladies were there, they were talking about, of course, they started talking about the fashion show that's coming up. So this is the time where we're getting closer and closer to the She by Sheree fashion show. So Kenya was letting them know that last time she spoke to Sheree, Sheree still had said that she had not received her pieces, and that she had about, I think she still said she had about 5 pieces, and I guess 19 pieces. I guess they were waiting on 19 pieces. And so everyone is like, oh my God, because, the ladies really want Sheree to win. We all do. We all have been waiting for She by Sheree. And so it's the thing where everyone is like, oh my gosh, like, it's like here. So, it's not the time to be missing, some of the items. So next we move on over to Candy and Mama Joyce. So Candy and Mama Joyce, they meet up at Old Lady Gang Restaurant. And while they're there, Candy, was letting Mama Joyce know that, she had taken Ace to do some acting classes and that he's doing really good. And then she shared with Mama Joyce that she and Todd had started their estate planning. And so Candy's mom was like, okay, so, how's that going? So Candy was letting her know that, she and Todd, they're like in the beginning stages, but they're working on making sure everything is taken care of, just in case there's a tragedy of, or anything, if something happens to her or Todd. And so Mama Joyce just came out and told Candy, she feels like Candy should just really focus on Riley, like that Riley should get like most of, everything, because she feels that Riley doesn't have her dad, active in her life. And Candy's two other kids, Ace and baby Blaze, has Todd. And I don't know how I feel about that, because, Ace and Blaze are Candy's kids too. So I feel like, I don't know if that's good advice. I'm not sure. Mama Joyce has always been very vocal about, her daughter's, coins. So she kind of feels like Riley should get, the majority share, because, Blaze, if something happens to Candy, Blaze, and, they'll be taken care of because they have their dad. So then later on, Candy, lets her know, if something happens to both Todd and Candy, then she's going to have Don Juan actually be the one, to take over the estate and make sure everyone gets, everything divided up, right. And then Mama Joyce was saying that she feels like it should not just be Don Juan, it should be another person, sharing that responsibility. And Candy was like, well, who do you think, like who? And she said me. So Mama Joyce feels like she and Don Juan should take over that. So, I don't know. It's up to Candy. And I feel like Candy knows what she's doing. She's very business savvy. So she's going to make sure everybody is taken care of. Moving on. Okay, so let's go on and scoot on over to Marlo and Sandia. So Marlo has Sandia and Ross coming over. And what Ross has decided to do is kind of mentor Marlo's nephews. So, which is good, so they're going to have a male figure, a positive male figure, like, in their life. So, Sandia and Ross have decided to become part of Marlo in the nephew's village. And so it's so cute. This scene is so cute because Sandia had some overalls customized for William and Michael, for the nephews, because Ross is getting ready to teach them how to service a vehicle. Because Sandia and Ross have their own car service. So Ross decided to have the boys come over, or they came over and they have them working on a vehicle. So he has the boys out there teaching them how to change the oil in a car, and also how to change a tire. So this was good. This was a cute, fun scene, and he was really being so endearing to them, and you can tell on the boys' face that they really appreciated it, because that's what's missing. So I thought this was really super cool of Ross to do that with the boys. So then after they change the tire and they service the vehicle, they come back in to eat, and Marlo was just asking the boys, how they're doing, how they felt. And, they said that they felt good about being back, home. And, you can really tell. Of course they felt, good because, they were at Crystal's house, and it was a limited space. Crystal had 4 children, and she did the best she could, but, they really appreciate being with Marlo, living that lavish lifestyle. Marlo has invited her mom to Atlanta. So Marlo is on her way to pick her mom up, and while she's there, she's kind of like talking while she's in the car, like, trying to see what she's gonna say to her mom and stuff like that. So she goes to pick her mom up, and it's so cute. This scene really kind of like touched me. I'm like, okay, Marlo's pulling at my heartstrings, talking to her mom and stuff. So they, Marlo likes to shop. So what she did was pick her mom up and take her shopping. So, and Marlo feels like, to break the ice and talk to her mom, she would rather do it in the department store, because the last time they were, at home talking, things got like out of hand. And she feels like if, her and the mom are in a space where there are people, things won't go left. So they're at the department store and they're talking. And so Marlo was letting her mom know that she was really hurt, about some things. And then her mom expressed that, yes, she was hurt too, because Marlo had bought a house for her mother. And she bought the house because she wanted the nephews to have a place to live, a safe environment and a good environment, and live with the grandma. And so mom says she was hurt because Marlo actually took the house from her mom. And her mom said, she was hurt by that, that she gave her the house and then she took it. But lo and behold, her mom was not at the house most of the time, and she said that there was, stuff being sold in and out of the house. And there was a lot of people coming in and out, and they were selling drugs. It just wasn't a good environment for the nephews. And so she took the house back. And then the mom wasn't there most of the time. So the nephews ended up calling Marlo and asking Marlo, can you just come and pick us up? So that's, how Marlo, became the caretaker of her nephews. And so, her mom, they shared a moment to where they kind of got sad and were kind of bonding in the store. And then she wanted to show her mom Lee Archive. And that's Marlo's, business, where she rents out some of her clothing to like celebrities, and it's high-end fashions. So she wanted to show her mom Lee Archive, and she did. She took her there, and it was so cute because she dressed her mom. So put a cute little hat on her. And, it was just kind of like having that mom and daughter moment that she had been missing. And so while they were there, her mom started asking Marlo, she wants to bring her man. So she wanted to have her, man come down to Atlanta. And so this kind of struck a nerve. So this kind of triggered Marlo. And it really upset her because she was like, no, Mom, she feels like her mom has always put men before her. And, she's trying to rekindle, their relationship. So, this made Marlo cry. Like, and this is what I mean. But she, for the first time, I saw Marlo in a different light. She wasn't this nasty, mean person. And I was kind of able to kind of see how, see the more soft side of Marlo. And that's the better side. I really wish that Marlo would have focused more on her relationship with her mom, and less on the fighting and being so mean and, just going below the belt. This kind of feels like a better scene for her. So I really wish that she would have spent more time, introducing her mom, right, to the show. and us seeing this side of her than, that nasty Marlo side. Anyways, so surprisingly, Marlo invited Candy to meet her mom. Out of anybody, I would have thought that she would have had, invited Sandia. But I guess since they made up over, chicken wings, she invited Candy. So Candy was walking in, and, they were kind of going back and forth. And so Candy was like, hello, is everything okay? And, Marlo was kind of tearing up, and she was like, yeah, everything's okay. The mom was like, yeah, everything's fine. So the mom was like, hi, to Candy. And then Candy came in and introduced herself, and she said, we've heard a lot about you, Mama Marlo. She was, asking her how her sobriety is going, how she is doing as it relates to, where she's at now with the drugs and stuff. And she also asked, how long she was on drugs, just kind of getting a feel of, where she's at. And I thought it was cool that Candy was there to support Marlo. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But this scene kind of, made me change my mind a little bit, just a little bit, about Marlo. Moving on. So in the next scene, we see Sheree, and she has met up with Ruan and, her team, because now the fashion show is here. And so they have the models there, kind of going over, the runway and walking. They're at the venue, kind of doing some last minute things and setting up for the fashion show, because I think the fashion show is actually going to be tomorrow. And it's crazy because in walks Tyrone, and everyone is like, what? And it was so funny because the camera zooms in on Sheree's daughter. She's like, who is that? And I'm like, Sheree, your daughters don't know who Tyrone is, and you've been with this man for quite some time? I thought that was kind of odd, but she really didn't know who that was. And then she said, oh, he's short. So I was looking okay, what's going on? So Tyrone walks in, and it kind of throws everything off, because Sheree was just talking about how she still doesn't have everything in. She literally just has 5 pieces, and the fashion show is basically going to be here, tomorrow, the next day. And Ruan was like, well, do you need me to go get them? Because she was saying, because she's the planner, she's like, okay, I'll go get them. If I need to go fly somewhere, drive somewhere to pick up your clothing, I'll do that. But she was saying, can you make the clothing too? So I don't know. Again, Sheree, I don't know what to believe with Sheree. But in walks Tyrone, and Tyrone, the first thing Sheree is asking, okay, so you gonna apologize because you left me, sitting outside a restaurant in Philadelphia? And Tyrone is like, no, because you knew that I couldn't go because I was on house arrest. So I really don't know who's telling the truth, but I kind of feel like Tyrone is not being honest, because why would she go this far, right? It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, at this point, I'm just looking at Sheree like, this guy doesn't mean you any good, so he should just leave. He's not the one. And so they're going back and forth, and everyone's looking like, what? And Sheree basically is like, I'm cool. I'm cool. Bye. She's over it, because he just wasn't on it. And he did not apologize. He never apologized. He felt like he didn't do anything. He also asked Sheree to apologize. He feels like she should be the one apologizing. So, he ends up leaving. So now it's the day of the fashion show. And, everyone is arriving to the venue, the location. And first, let me tell you that the venue was stunning. It was beautiful. Ruan and Tori did an excellent job. It was gorgeous. The aesthetics was great. It looked just amazing. All the elites were there. everyone who is, you know, of importance was there. We saw, you know, of course, Kenya was there. Deshaun Snow. We saw Sheree's ex-husband. He was there. Peter Thomas was there. Just, you know, a lot of people were there, and you know, they really came out to support. I mean, I feel like all the seats were filled, and so we see that they're already getting started. But I know that they were saying it kind of seemed like Sheree was like a couple of hours behind starting the fashion show, but I'm not sure. So the camera, we saw that Bravo panned the camera over to some of the people in the audience. So as everybody was coming in, people started kind of like talking like, okay, come on. I saw Sandia saying, come on, we want to see the fashions. Then they panned over to Dwight, and you know, every time they panned the camera over to him, he would say like something like, I'm getting ready to leave, you know. And he was the one who, you know, kind of threw shade at her last time when she did the fashion show and she didn't have any of her fashions. And it was so funny because, you know, people were like, oh, come on, Sheree. And so I think it was maybe, it had to be at least an hour behind before, you know, the show started. But then when it started, I'm telling you, the fashions were amazing. So she had about, if I had to count, I think she had to have had at least about 20 or even more than 20 pieces. And because they had, the models kept coming out, and the fashions were awesome. They were great. We saw the men's fashions, and there was this one male model that walked out, and I think he had on like an earth tone set, and it was nice. It was super nice. And that's when we saw Kenya stand up, the camera panned on her, and she was like feeling that guy. She was like, yes, and she was like, you can have my number. And Kenya looked cute. Let me just say this. Kenya looked super cute. She had on this silver dress, and her hair was back and up. She looked cute. All the ladies actually looked cute. I think I saw Moneta there as well. But everyone looked nice. Everyone was supportive. When I tell you, this fashion show was top tier, it was super elegant, classy. It was everything. So, you know, Sheree, kudos, you did a great job. And we saw, like, as the fashion show was wrapping up, Sheree came out and she did her catwalk. Like, so she did her walk on the runway, and she was walking a little bit slow and cute. I know that she was excited. You can look at her and tell that, you know what, she did it. She was excited. So all the ladies, and almost at the end of the scene, rallied around her. And they were just supporting her, you know, clapping for her, giving her flowers, which she well deserved. But overall, the fashion show went off without a hitch. It was nice. It was nice. And I was so proud of Sheree. So the funny thing about that was, I think Sheree let us know that we would be able to purchase She by Sheree. So she would have had her website up and running for us to be able to purchase some of her fashions, because everyone is waiting to purchase. You know, all the ladies were there. They said they were going to support, you know, even me. I'm going to buy some She by Sheree. So when I went to the website right after this episode ended, it said that the website had crashed. So there's this big old controversy on socials where they are really, really dragging Sheree, because, you know, they're saying that she doesn't have the clothing that, you know, that she showed the day of the fashion show. So what's on the site is clothing from, you know, other people's brands. But, you know, I don't know. I'm just going to wait and see what she comes out with. But overall, this was the finale, and it was great. I liked it. I felt like the season was amazing. And I am a Real Housewives of Atlanta kind of like a fan. So I like the show. So I'm going to support them anyway. But this was the end. And it was great. You guys, if you watch it, for those of you that do watch the show, you let me know how you feel this season was. You guys rate the season 1 through 10. I'm going to give it a 10. I had a great time reviewing the show. Please make sure you guys come back and tune in for the reunion, because I am going to be doing a review for the reunion. So this was the finale, you guys, and it was awesome. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And hit the notification bell so you guys would know when I upload the next video. Also, get down in the comments. You guys rate this episode. You can rate the season. And stay tuned for the reunion. Bye.